Okay, so as promised, another video with some tips to help you build a better home loan schedule spreadsheet. My first tip is actually on the assignment task sheet. Work monthly. I don't really think I have to say this, except almost every year, a couple of students give me a home loan schedule spreadsheet worked annually. So year 1, year 2, year 3, up to year 25. This won't work. Banks don't lend you money with annual repayments. It's just not the way banks work. You have to work monthly. Okay. I actually recommend that you put the interest rate, in a separate column. And the reason is many of you will have home loans where the rate changes. So you might have a honeymoon rate for the first 6 months, or you might have a fixed rate loan. If you have a fixed rate loan, and you want to model it properly with your spreadsheet, your fixed rate will be fixed for 3 years or 5 years, and then after that it will turn into the variable rate. The rate has to change. The easiest way to make that be able to be done in your spreadsheet, add a column with the rate. So just before E, I want a column between D and E with the interest rate. If I right click on the column header and go insert, then I can add a new column called rate. And my rate, I think, was 4%. Yes, it was here. So I'm going to go 4%. If I use the percent key when I type that, or I use the percent symbol up here, then Excel says, oh, you mean 0.04, and it automatically does that for me. Now remember, I don't have to type at every row. See a little square in the bottom right, double click that, it copies it down for me. Okay, having done that, my interest is then, instead of 0.04, it's times by my annual percentage rate in E3. No apparent change, but that's okay. This one still says E3, this one still says 0.04. I want to make them all refer to the one to the left. Again, fill down that column. Now, there's no apparent change, right? Except if I now want to change the interest rate after 6 months, in the 7th month it might become 4.8%. Oh, notice Excel has rounded that for me to a whole number. Select the column, choose percent, and then you can increase the or decrease the number of decimal places you want. Most of you probably want 2 decimals for your percentage rate for loans. Now, I'm going to skip forward one and come back to that in a second. Line above with an equals line above. When I changed this, the following row still said 4%. What I really want is, if I change the rate anywhere, I want every line below it to match my new rate. So what I'm going to do is go back to the second row and say, like I actually already did, I did this before for the repayment column. I said equals the line above for the same reason. If I decide after a year I'm going to be able to pay more, I can just change that number there and every line below changes. Let me undo that and do it for the rate column. Second row goes equals the line above. Now, fill that down, my 4.8 will disappear. But now if I go back to the 7th month and go 4.8, now I can't type this morning, then every row below will also change the interest rate for me. Okay? Having the rate as a separate column gives you much, much more flexibility. Okay. Fees as a separate column. Again, it makes it more flexible. Some of you will have monthly fees. Monthly fees are easy. You can just add it into either the principal or the interest, depending on whichever is more easier for you to do. But some of you will have fees that happen every year, and you want the fee to happen in month 1, month 13, month 25. So let's add another fee. Your fee might be on the principal before the interest, or it might be at the end of the month. Let's say this one is at the end of the month. So what we're going to do is go, let's go in here, insert a new column, fee. And let's have a just for the sake of argument, a 6 monthly fee of $50. Then month 7, $50. And then month 13, $50. You can go through and copy that down if you're clever. See if you can come up with a formula that does that for you. Then what I have to do is change my balance to be that plus the fee that I just got charged. And again, copy down. And those fees will get added in. Except I haven't gone far enough to get them added every single time. There'd be another one at 19 and so on all the way down. Okay? So, there are my recommendations. Here's a few things I actually don't recommend for you. Some people say at the top of your spreadsheet, what's the easiest? I'm going to have to put it at the side because I don't have room for the top. At the top of your spreadsheet, you should have principal, rate, repayment. Okay? And so I'm going to run out of room, but I can fix that. My formatting's gone funny. Let me see if I can fix. Oh, it's very funny. Okay, don't worry about that. And then I go 300,000, and then I go rate is 4%, and then I go repayments $1,500. And then at the start of your spreadsheet, you go equals my principal. Oops, yeah, I typed it wrong. Okay. And I go equals my interest rate. And I go equals my repayment. Now the reason, I mean, this looks beautiful. You can put this at the top of the spreadsheet. All the information in, you change it at one place at the top, it all works. The problem is it's not flexible. So again, if your rate changes partway down, you've got to have another table and change what you're looking at, and it's just a mess. Just put it down here in a separate column. If you decide to change how much you're repaying, as you might have to do for one of my alternative scenarios, it's just easier if you do it with an equal sign for the line above. The other thing I will say that I don't recommend is using Excel's special loan formulas. Some of the video tutorials you will find on the internet suggest using formulas to calculate how much the repayment is, to calculate how much interest you owe. So for example, I can work out my repayment with, and if you go payment, you will see there's a list of functions here that work out different versions of interest you might owe and so on. So I can go, for example, payment at this rate for 330 months, which is how long it'll take to pay this one off. Starting with, like the TVM on the calculator, you start with a negative number, 300,000, and Excel will tell me, no, I clearly got something wrong. What? Oh, I know what I got wrong. This is a annual rate, I want a monthly rate. So if I repay about $1,500 a month, I'll pay that off in 330 months. Okay? Excel can work out that payment for you. I don't recommend using a formula. The reason is I have seen too many students putting those formulas in every column, in every row, and then it's not flexible. If their rate changes, they forget to adjust the formulas. If the repayment amount changes, they forget to adjust the formulas. And then lo and behold, paying more or paying less per month hasn't changed how long it's going to take to pay off because the students did something silly. So for flexibility and to avoid mistakes, I don't recommend using those special formulas. They work, but you've got to know exactly what you're doing to get them right.